the opening chapter of Disbelieved, a young adult crime thriller written and read by Beth Webb. Chapter 1, The Cyclist. The bike skidded and jerked in the air. For a split second, both machine and cyclist seemed frozen upside down, out of time. The boy's legs slipped, his body dangled, and he plummeted into the quarry below, still clutching the handlebars as if they could save him. Anelise ran smack into the wire fence, screaming. "Are you all right?" she yelled. "Right, right," the echo replied. She shook the wire. A couple of stones clattered over the edge. "Hey! Hey! Hey!" A blackbird flew up, scolding. Heart pounding, Anelise tried to climb over. Her fingers hurt and her feet slipped. It was useless. 15 meters below was a wild tangle of elder and brambles. Nothing moved, not a glint of twisted bike or scarlet cycling gear. With shaking hands, she jabbed 999 into her mobile. No signal. Zilch. Not even SOS. Throat tight and lungs bursting, she sprinted the rough trackway to the top of the hill and down the other side to the car park at the bottom. It was mid-afternoon. There was bound to be someone pulling on walking boots and yelling at a dog. Someone would drive for help. She was out of luck. There were plenty of cars, but no one about. To her right, the road zigzagged down a steep hill towards the village. Nothing for it, she'd have to run. She'd waved down a car. Every second counted. Her feet pounded the tarmac, her chest ached. She checked her phone. A flickering signal. Sobbing with relief, she tried again. "Ambulance, quickly," she told the woman. Location? Countock Quarry, just up from the car park. You'll see a tumulus. A what? A huge mound of earth, an old burial mound thingy. They'll need ropes and climbing gear. 20 minutes later, a thudding helicopter hovered over the quarry edge, flattening the grass with the downdraft. Anelise put her hands over her ears and crouched. It was starting to rain. The grey clouds reflected back flashing blue lights from the ambulance and police car. Paramedics and police peered into the quarry. Far below, men on ropes hacked back the sloes and brambles. There was no sign of the cyclist or his bike. Pain drilled through Anelise's skull. A police community support officer in a day-glow vest came and squatted next to her. "Where exactly did you see the young man go over?" she yelled. "Think clearly now." "There, just there." Anelise waved a hand at the wire fence for the umpteenth time. "I'm certain. He was as clear as you are. I don't know why you can't find him, but he was there." The woman scowled at Anelise's black eye makeup and spiked purple hair. "Do you take anything recreational?" Anelise glared back. "If you mean do I take drugs, no, I don't." Just then the helicopter lifted and roared away across the hills. Anelise pulled her fleece over her ears to block out the rain and noise. 2 men in green jackets with silver stripes called the PCSO aside. They shook their heads. She returned to Anelise. "There's no one here, love." "Maybe he's dead." "No, they've swept the area with a heat seeker. There's nothing bigger than a fox down there." She put a sympathetic hand on Anelise's arm. "Are you worried about something at home or at school? Are you being bullied? You got problems with exams or your boyfriend or something? Do you need someone to talk to?" Anelise shook her off. "I'm not a screwed-up attention seeker. I was just out for a walk and I saw him. I know I did." Her head thumped and she wanted to puke. "We're sure you meant well, dear, but we've searched and searched. There's no cyclist and no bike. Look, not even one of those stunt cyclists you see on telly could get over a fence this high. That's what it's there for, you see." Anelise screwed up her eyes. "Don't patronise me," she screamed silently. "Go away." The PCSO tried again. "Well, it's just that these crews could have been needed elsewhere. To save someone who was really in trouble," Anelise finished for her. "Yeah, I know. And it cost thousands of pounds to call you guys out. I know that too. And I didn't do it for fun, right? I saw him go over. A teenager in bright red cycling gear and a black helmet. His bike was metallic blue. I'm sure I saw him." All right, the woman smiled. "We're putting this down as a false call with good intent, but Be more careful next time, eh? She patted Anelise's shoulder and jumped into a police Land Rover. Mud splattered as the tyres gripped, the blue lights died, and the vehicle whined away. Anelise flopped into the prickly heather and hugged her knees. She stared at the fence in disbelief. Someone had put in clips where they'd cut the wire. The PCSO was right. No one could have got through or over that fence. How could she have been so stupid? But she was certain, and something wasn't right about it. What? She buried her head in her arms and tried to think. Her mind went blank. After all that noise, the near silence overwhelmed her. The wind blew. Rain pattered at her jacket. Behind her, a whirring mountain bike bounced downhill towards the mound. She was about to yell a warning, but the cyclist veered away, avoiding the downward path and the log that blocked it. Anelise got to her feet. I'm losing the plot, she told herself. A cyclist wouldn't come this way. I need to get home. I'm all achy. Perhaps I'm getting flu or something. She dragged herself back to the car park. This time there were plenty of people piling wet dogs into cars. Some were gawping up at the disappearing helicopter. There was no one she knew to beg a lift from, and she didn't have the energy to walk down to the main road and catch the bus as she'd planned. Pulling out her mobile, she stumbled on until the one-bar signal lit up. Then she clicked on home. Hi, Joe. I know you're busy, but I'm feeling crap. Can you come and get me? 10 minutes later, a clapped-out VW rattled up the hill and stopped. Joe kicked the passenger door open. Anelise jumped to her feet and got in. Thanks ever so. Good old Minty. Listen, my beloved Polo may be white and full of holes, Joe said, but her name is Araminta, not Minty. She is a priceless antique. Kindly treat her with respect. Anelise patted the dashboard and strapped herself in. Call her what you like, but today she's a beautiful white charger, and you, my dearest cousin, are my knight in shining armour. Glad to be of service, Joe grinned through his freckles. Then he frowned. You look really grim, cuz. You're shaking. What's the matter, seen a ghost? Anelise shivered. I'll tell you when I'm clutching a bucket of tea. As you wish, my lady. Joe revved Minty's engine and sent her hurtling down the hill, whining against worn-out gears as she headed for home.